Hello friends, hi, I'm Abhinash and welcome once again to my channel. Today I'll discuss about an interview question which is asked by interview panelists to both freshers as well as working professionals. And that question is, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Hence I will guide you how to answer this question from both perspectives, as a fresher and as an experienced candidate. So let's start with freshers. When interviewer asks you this question, they may quantify this and ask you to mention your three strengths and weaknesses. This is one of the most challenging HR interview questions, and you must maintain a balance between your strengths and weaknesses while answering. As you talk about your strengths, show your capabilities and skills, but don't boast about them. I have mentioned 8 points which can be cited as strengths: quick learner, a great team player, I learn from my mistakes, passionate about learning, good communication skills, positive mindset, time management, prioritizing. Even though I've mentioned 8 points above, please avoid mentioning all of them. Please choose and mention 3 of them as your strengths. Remember, once you mention about your strengths, interviewers may ask you to cite an instance to show when you prove to be a good team player or a quick learner, depending upon what strengths you have mentioned to them. Hence, prepare yourself with an example to support the strengths cited by you. I will cite an example from my recent campus recruitment drive. I visited an engineering college in June this year to hire MCA students along with my technical team members. While interviewing a female student, when we asked her about her three key strengths, she mentioned prioritizing as one of her strengths. I had promptly asked her how she prioritizes. Her reply was a perfect one. She said she prepares a to do list, checks on the tasks assigned to her, and decides which ones she should focus on as a priority. In case she gets stuck in prioritizing tasks, she seeks assistance from a supervisor. I have cited this example to show how you should frame your response. During another campus visit, when I had asked a candidate to mention three strengths, he had mentioned communication skills as one of them. The interesting point was that he himself was an average communicator. I and my other panelists smiled and asked him gently if he was sure if communication skills were his strength and told him that he should mention that as his weakness since he needs to improve on that front. Just be careful when you're choosing what to say as your strengths. However, just to add, we had hired the above candidate since he was good technically and great communication skills weren't one of our primary criteria for selection. Now let us discuss about weaknesses. When you share your weaknesses, show that you are self-aware and always ready to work on your flaws. I have mentioned three weaknesses below. You can choose which one to mention the interviewers. A. I cannot say no to anybody. However, now I am learning to softly refuse people these days by gently saying no. B. My communication skills in English are not as strong as I'd like them to be, but I am committed to improving in this area through practice and ongoing learning. Point number C. I am a little bit emotional, which has made me take impulsive decisions in the past. Now I am learning to be patient and think over an issue before taking a call. Now we come to the points which experienced candidates can mention as their strengths and weaknesses. Experienced candidates, you can mention below points as your strengths: flexibility, team building, teamwork, good leadership skills, passionate about learning, good communication skills, presentation skills, prioritizing, problem solving. Experienced candidates may also be asked to cite an instance to show when they showcase the strengths mentioned by them. Hence, you should also prepare yourself with an example to support the strengths cited by you. Let me explain this with an example. While interviewing a candidate for an AGM position, when he was asked to mention his strengths, he mentioned leadership skills, team building, and flexibility as his three key strengths. When we asked him to showcase an instance to illustrate leadership skills, this was his reply. When I joined my last company, I found that my department was in a complete mess. Employees did not follow any discipline. They came to the office late, processes and systems were not followed, and documentation not maintained properly. I discussed with my team and highlighted the importance of following processes and systems to improve productivity. Initially, two employees started mentioning that out here, this is how work gets done. But I countered them by saying that 15 years back, there were no smartphones, but now everyone has at least one of them. Further, I gently told them that if management has brought me here as your senior, it was because they wanted to streamline systems and processes in the department. Hence, I will urge all of you to support me in this endeavor. I started preparing the processes and systems for my department, got it approved by management, and then held a discussion with my team members and told them that we should all strive to follow the same. With systems in place, my team started working with renewed vigor, and I streamlined my department within 6 months of my joining. Later, I also recommended one of my subordinates for the Staff Performer of the Year award, which was duly approved by management. This is an instance I will cite to showcase how I displayed leadership skills in my current company to streamline my department and motivated my subordinates to elevate their performance. This is how the candidate stated an instance to showcase his leadership skills. Now let us discuss about how you should mention about your weaknesses. Here are some of the weaknesses that experienced candidates can mention when they share their weaknesses. Just like freshers, you too can show that you are self-aware of your weakness and are working to address them. Some of the weaknesses you can mention is A. Attention to detail. Sometimes I pay too much attention to small things that I ignore key factors, but I am learning to maintain the balance and focus on major aspects. I am a workaholic who takes work seriously. Often I used to carry my workload back home, which used to put me under undue stress. However, these days I have realized that there is more to life and try to engage in other pursuits when I reach home. Point number C is self criticism. I have high expectations and tend to be too hard on myself if my efforts fall short. Over time, I have learned to silence negative self talk and focus on my achievements. Point number D is I'm a little bit emotional, which has made me take impulsive decisions in the past. Now I'm learning to be patient and think over an issue before taking a call. I have mentioned a common weakness for both freshers and experienced candidates, that is, about being emotional, which I think both freshers and experienced candidates can mention. Remember, it is not necessary to cite three weaknesses if interviewers ask you to cite them. You can choose one or two of them and tell them that you can't recollect anymore. Why dwell so much into weaknesses during interview? Always be positive in your approach before the interviewers. That's it from my end today. Hope you have liked my presentation. I'll look forward to your comments on my video. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. And if you have already subscribed, keep on enjoying my videos.